first going to make a statement that may be controversial. And if you can't agree with some of these statements, maybe you can argue with me or we can have it, but maybe you just don't need to listen anymore. All right, guys, we are going to do a quick mini today. Welcome back to Net Worth Show. I'm your host, Justin Pugh. Today, we are going to be talking about the new hip drop tackle ban in the NFL. There's a lot of controversy online. Seeing some of the biggest stars talking about, they love it, they hate it. Let me give you the business of football side of this thing and why that argument doesn't matter whatsoever. I'm first going to make a statement that may be controversial. And if you can't agree with some of these statements, maybe you can argue with me or we can have it, but maybe you just don't need to listen anymore. NFL players, I'm talking to all my guys out there. We all make a trade, our health for money. We know there's potentially career-ending injuries, blown out knees. I've blown out my ACL, my labrum, hands, all of these different things. We trade our health for money. That is the one foundational piece that I want to make here, and I kind of build on that as we go. Every NFL guy has been in a locker room where we start joking about CTE or other career-ending injuries. It is a part of our sport. The scary part is the unknown of what these impacts from football are going to have on our lives. I'm not arguing that whatsoever. That is an entirely separate topic for an entirely separate day. I do know the NFL and the NFLPA are trying to do whatever they can do to make the game safe. But I wanted to set the foundation. NFL players trade their health for wealth. As long as we can accept that, we can move on to the rest of the conversation. You also may disagree with this, but offensive stars sell the game. They generate the most money. Your quarterbacks, your receivers, your running backs, and your tight ends. Why? Fantasy football. Everyone wants to tune in to see the game. People are gambling on these players. There's props and all these different things that are out there. Everyone tunes in. Look at your fantasy roster right now or from last year. You probably had 10 plus offensive players and you maybe had a defense or a special teams. It's just the nature of the beast. So we have to say that. I'm coming from the bottom of this entire totem pole. Offensive linemen, no one cares at all about us. So what I need is for these guys to continue to make us more and more money. And how do they make us more and more money? They are on the field playing. So look at some of the rules that have been coming in. Obviously, you have the hip drop. Every year, there's a new rule that comes out that everyone freaks out about. Defenseless receiver, roughing the quarterback. Any rule going forward, and we can already see this from all the rules that were put into place, are put in place to keep the offensive stars on the field playing football. Nobody wants to tune into prime time Sunday night football and Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert aren't out there throwing the ball. Or your star receiver isn't out there throwing the ball. It is what keeps this game going. The dollars are what keep this game going. And we can talk about injuries and all those other things, but players trade their health for money. So what do we have to do through these rules is to continue to grow the game, continue to make more money, because at the end of the day, those dollars trickle down into our pockets through the salary cap. People are like, oh, it's ruining the game. The game isn't growing. The game hasn't been stronger. Has anyone looked at the salary cap this year? Did anyone see Amazon paying $400 million to broadcast one game on Black Friday? The game is in great shape because everyone's watching the random games that are meaningless because there's fantasy implications or they have a bet that's on the line. And players, please, 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 I know you hate fantasy and you hate the blowback and the DMs. That's another conversation for another day. But just know that 48.23% of every dollar that comes into the bucket through the NFL and NFLPA's rev share plan goes into the salary cap. The salary cap just went up $30-some-odd million this year. The business of football is strong. The rule was put into place to help keep our stars on the field. That is the bottom line. And if the rule, for whatever reason, is put into place and it ruins the game, we can take the rule out. We don't have to keep the rule in the game if the butterfly effect ruins it. But as we can see, the business of football stays undefeated. The dollars make the call, and they always will. So as players, I know we get all riled up. Just remember, 48.23%, we're getting our money. Because we trade our health for wealth. Let's get the dollar amount up as high as possible. So when the game ends for all of us, we have as many dollars in our pockets as possible. For the fans, if this game is impacting it, you speak with your dollars. Don't tune into the game. Don't go buy the jerseys. But what else are you going to watch? You're going to watch baseball? You're going to watch football. You're going to tune into the biggest game on the biggest stage. It's what makes this world go round. It's a $20 billion business. Football isn't going anywhere. The owners are going to continue to make decisions. And when I say owners, the competition committee is continuing to make decisions that are in the betterment of the game and growing the game and making more dollars, which players, we love that. This is a partnership. This is an ecosystem, and we all play our part. If anyone doesn't like it, they can speak up with their dollars. So if it affects the fans, they'll see. And then the competition committee will go back to the table and they'll make those changes. So I just quickly wanted to touch on the dollars and cents of this whole thing. The business of football is what runs it. I appreciate you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.